This is second part of the lecture series talking about the ideas of Niall Ferguson. So the second claim of Niall Ferguson that he has offered in his book as well as in his documentary was related to free market economy, and he believed that the West defeated the rest because it adopted free market economy. But there are critics who believe that that is not in reality the case. They argue that most of the so-called capitalist countries, they followed protectionist economy for a long time. Navigation law, corn law, and a number of laws are cited as example whereby it cannot be said that these companies, these states, capitalist states, were acting in favor of free market economy or introducing free market economy. They might have had free market economy in their own countries, in their own states to some extent, or maybe to a great extent. But when it comes to colonies, that was not the case. For instance, the East India Company was given monopoly over trade. Similarly, several companies from Netherlands and from France as well. They were also given exclusive rights on a number of matters, and it was only they who could trade. So free market economy was not there. In reality, they followed protectionist economy. There are some Indian historians who believe that the British government slapped Indian products with a number of taxes and tariffs, and some go to the extent of saying that the British Indian authorities or the British Indian government destroyed Indian textile industry in a very systematic way because they would produce fine quality, textile, and in order to promote their own products, they destroyed Indian goods. But on the other hand, those who might subscribe to the ideas of Niall Ferguson would argue that yes, there was free market economy, and uh, I mean, during the 18th century, there have been times when French society was flooded with British goods, and European countries were in reality promoting free market economy, and those economies that did not follow the principles of free market economy, they really suffered. For instance, Japan closed down its border for foreigners for more than 100 years, and for a very long time, Japanese economy remained stagnant in the clutches of feudal system. And it was only after a certain rulers or the emperors of that country realized that they lagged behind because they closed their borders, they did not follow the principles of free market economy. The same could be said about China, that in a way, according to some historian, turn out to be xenophobic, disallowing foreigners, and did not let them enter the country, or did not engage in trade with other countries the way free market economies or the countries that were following free market economies did. And that's why China also remained in the clutches of feudalism. And there are some thinkers, there are some commentators who said that Deng Xiaoping thanked Japan for awakening China from its long slumber by not only occupying the country but by bringing the principles of free market economy. But historians from third world countries or the global south claim that in reality, the British Empire, instead of setting up industries in colonies, they turned these countries into raw material markets. So they would extract raw materials from colonies, taking it to cities like Bristol, Manchester, and other urban centers, churning out textile goods and other goods, and then bringing it back to colonies. And this is how they secured safe market, safe market in a sense that no other country could sell there. And the movement of ships coming from India was also restricted in the way that, according to some historian, they were supposed to report to, the ports in England or in parts of the UK. So they said that the British did not promote industries. If there had been some industrialization, that could have been because of the war, because during the First and Second World War, British industries must have suffered, production must have suffered. So some of these industries or some of this production was shifted to colonies, so as to ensure a smooth supply of goods and services. In the same way, if some modernization was carried out in countries like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, it was for colonial purposes, for colonial aims and objective. For instance, the railways was massively used to transport weapons from one part of the British India to other parts, and they ask the name of the industries that might have been set up during the British time. And they believed that there used to be a repatriation of capital, and not much capital was invested in British India or French colonies or other British colonies or Dutch colonies. Um, in reality, most of these colonial powers just used what we call raw material or industrial inputs. For instance, rubber from Belgium, Congo, oil from Indonesia by Dutch and other companies. In the same way, raw material for textile from India and other parts of the world. So they say that they insist that it was in reality the policies of these colonial empire to extract only raw material. They were not there to promote free market economy. They were not there to industrialize. They did not encourage trade there. Of course, whatever policies they came up with, they were meant to promote British, French, or colonial trades rather than promoting indigenous industries. So when Niall Ferguson said free market economy, it was only for the colonial masters or the colonial countries. It was not for the colonies.